and today I'm here to review the new book, Clickbait, by Valett. I'm not sure how exactly you say it. She's a debut author, actually, and this is a Wattpad novel. Now don't run. I know. I had the same thought when I read Wattpad novel. Wattpad novels, they're honestly hit or miss, aren't they? There's some that I really love, and then there's some like after which we should probably just burn in a fire. So I was a little bit nervous going into it, but I thought the premise sounded really interesting. The cover is so cool. Doesn't it kind of look like, the hair to me looks like Karen Wheeler, Mike and Nancy's mom from Stranger Things. It looks like her hair, but the premise of this book is actually really cool. It's in the vein of, like, I would say, it's not a murder mystery, but I would definitely say, like, if you liked One of Us is Lying, this is a good book. And I think if you like this kind of murder intrigue-esque books, because again, there's not really a murder per se, but it's definitely like that intrigue. So the story starts with this girl, Chloe, who has decided that she's going to avenge her best friend who was kind of ruined by the top tier of students at her school. It's this level 1 group. They are like the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the top of the food chain at school. They control all the rumors, they ruin people's lives just for the fun of it, and her best friend Monica, Chloe's, joined them in the last like year of school, and her life got ruined by them. Now that's kind of the mystery of, you don't really know exactly what happened particularly, but she does write letters throughout the story to Monica to be like, okay, this is what I'm doing now. And her whole plan, Chloe, is to change her image, kind of revamp herself, make herself like really like deck herself out in designer clothes, make herself seem like she's so interested in popularity and stuff like that, and infiltrate the group so she can take them down from the inside. And it's a really interesting premise. Weirdly enough, there's actually another book that I'm going to read that also has this same premise, so I'm interested to read that because I read that one is a lot similar but also like more bloody, so I think that one will be interesting. But Clickbait, I think, is such a cool, fresh, interesting read. I really loved Chloe. The way she gets into the group is that she blackmails William, who is one of like the nicer people in the group. He really doesn't have as many secrets. He's not as kind of cold or mean or vicious as the other people are. So she blackmails him into fake dating, which we all know how fake dating goes, guys. And he's kind of her go-to into this group, but the more she gets involved in the group, the harder it is to kind of remember herself, because she has to do things that she's not comfortable with and that make her feel bad, because, you know, that's how she has to prove herself to the group. And what I like, though, is that it wasn't necessarily like she ever got caught up really in like the allure of it or anything. Like, there was a moment, I think, where she mentioned that like she could see why people want to join the level 1s because of the power, and how having power over people makes you feel really good, but she like immediately dismisses it because her guilt of what she had to do outweighs like the good feeling she gets from the power. So I really like that it was kind of more about her not losing herself necessarily, being like, oh, I like having these designer clothes and all that. It was more about her losing herself and being like, am I becoming a bad person by doing the things that I'm doing? Like, does the ends justify the means? So I thought that was a really interesting premise. And Chloe and William, too, the more they develop throughout the book, is really cute, because it's fake dating, but we all know what happens with fake dating, guys. And William is actually, like I said, a really nice guy. He's one of the better ones out of the group, probably the best one out of the group, honestly. And he really tries to protect Chloe as much as he can. And it's kind of like a big conflict. I think that's the main conflict, is she's kind of like, can I like William knowing that he was involved in what happened with my friend in some capacity and stuff like that. And I think it was very interesting. It is, again, I think, I mean, maybe it's just my school, but I feel like it's a tad unrealistic in just how much these kids get away with. It is, though, they do mention like a very rich school. It's one where the kids, their parents are very rich and powerful and have a lot of control over the school. So maybe like private rich schools are like that, where like you kind of have to cater to parents' whims and let kids kind of get away with more stuff, so you don't have like their parents being like, we're not gonna donate money for your new library next year or stuff like that. But I think the premise of it all is very interesting, in seeing how Chloe infiltrates and takes down these people and starts to realize, I think, for at least some of them, that there are different sides to them. I would say there's particularly 2 that are kind of just like one-dimensional, like they are just assholes. There's one specifically is just an asshole, and then one specifically they kind of mention what made them like that, but they're also just kind of an a-hole. Then there's William and 2 other people that I would say kind of get more of a, like, we can kind of see and feel bad for them in a way kind of thing, which I did appreciate because I feel like it shows of, you know, there's different ways, like, everyone has a different way of telling the same story, you know, like, you could be the villain of someone's story, but in reality you have, like, justifications of why you're doing it, and I think that's what Chloe starts to see. Again, though, like I said, I do appreciate that her mission really never changes. Like, she definitely has moments where she's like, is this what I really want to do? But it's always backed by, like, no, I need to do this for Monica. And I appreciate too, I wish there had been a deeper look at, I think, Monica herself. And I think part of that is because for so much of the book they want to keep you in suspense of, like, what really happened to Monica. So then when you do find out, it's kind of underwhelming and you're kind of like, oh, this isn't nearly as bad blame-wise as I thought. And I think I wish they had gone kind of more deeper into Monica's own motivations and stuff like that, because I do think it was touched upon by other characters and Chloe kind of made peace about it at the end, but still I feel like I would have liked them, like, diving deeper into it and kind of seeing that, like, again, just how the mean people aren't all as mean as you thought they were. Your friend who you thought was good isn't as completely good as you thought she was, because I feel like there is, you know, motivation too, where Chloe wants to go and join level 1 to take them down. Monica wanted to join to be one of them and to kind of be, like, the leader of them. So I think there should have been maybe a little bit more exploration of, like, is your friend really all that different from them? And, like, do they deserve this punishment for kind of what maybe your friend would have done, if that makes sense? I'm trying not to spoil it, so I feel like I'm just like, I do think, though, that overall, like, she kind of realizes there's more to it, you know? It's not just what they've done to her friend, it's what they've done to the school for the past 4 years while they've had this reign of terror, and that it has to come to an end. And I just think it's really, really interesting. Like, the intrigue, the mystery, it's divided into little sections of, like, her different part of her mission. So there's, like, reconnaissance, intelligence, infiltration, stuff like that, and it was really fun to kind of get into those little parts specifically and see, like, what she does. I think she's a very, very smart character, Chloe, and I did enjoy really her and William's dynamic. I thought that was very interesting. There's also a really good part at the end that I don't want to spoil, but I will say it's a very nice part with the leader of level 1, when kind of all the cards are on the table and you really start to see more humanity and more of, like, what drives this leader, and kind of feel bad for her in a sense too, but also, like, you've done terrible things, so it's kind of like you see that sometimes you don't necessarily always have a choice with things, or you do, but maybe it's easier to choose the wrong thing in the moment, but now you want to choose the right thing. So I like that there was kind of, for the most part, the author tried to give a good side to everyone except for those 2 people, like I said. I don't want to say who they are, but, like, if you read this book, you'll know who the 2 people are immediately, because one is just a psychopath, honestly, through and through. And I just think overall it was a very good, interesting message about school dynamics, power dynamics in general, and how not only, like, are these people kind of a reign of terror and they're culpable for that, but the people who allow them to get away with it and kind of feed on it and wait for their next big reveal or their next, like, who are they going to embarrass next, like, all the people underneath them, the other levels, the kind of not as popular people that are really interested in, like, share all these rumors they come up with, are there when they embarrass people and talk about it and spread the gossip, how they're kind of just as at fault too, because it's like they always need someone to talk about, they need someone to be in power and to lead them. And I think it's a very interesting discussion that you can make about power dynamics like that, of how not only, like, are the people in charge with the power keeping this in place, but also the people who they kind of lead and who follow them and spread their little, like, mechanisms and stuff like that, how they are also capable of, like, keeping this power balance in place. So I think it was a really interesting story. Like I said, I would highly recommend it. I think it's a really quick read. It's a revenge story that reads kind of like, I would say, like a CW or ABC Family, well, Freeform now, kind of show. I could definitely see it being turned into, like, a Netflix or Freeform show. I think it would be so, so cool. And I just really, really liked it. I think it's so interesting and intriguing. Chloe, like I said, is such an interesting character, and her and William are just so freaking cute together. So I would definitely give this book 5 out of 5 stars. It's a new favorite of mine and definitely one of my favorite reads of the year so far. So if you've read this book or are interested in reading it, definitely pick it up and let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. Also, make sure this video got a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!